Well, welcome back. Last time we were sharpening my pocket knife and dealing with a few other knives that we use around the shop and in the garden, and very simple technique. We just use a piece of slate and some water and weren't too critical about angles. But what we were coming up with for a knife edge, especially a pocket knife and that sort of thing, is we're not coming up with super sharp angles. You know, a flat plane and another flat plane. A pocket knife to work right, actually, it's got to have something like this. Suppose this is the bottom of the blade. It's flat, and just angles slightly, and the top has a slightly larger angle. Can you pick that up? But it's not quite centered. You know, they're not equal on either side. The gentle angle on the bottom of the blade, the bottom is rather less steep than the angle on the top. That's why a knife is either right-handed or left-handed, depending on how you use it. Well, after doing that, I was thinking we'll go straight to chisels, because everybody uses chisels in the shop. But as I thought about it, I thought I want to show you a couple of other tools that are so helpful in the shop. They're just so useful. And yet the sharpening of these tools is very much like sharpening a pocket knife, because the angles are going to be rather like a pocket knife. They're not going to be like a chisel. The first tool is a draw knife. Now, draw knives come in all sizes, all different shapes, and you know, this one, for instance, is kind of sway back. It's got a little curve like so. Other draw knives are dead flat, dead straight, but they all work the same way. They all work equally as well as the others. This is an old one. Now, here's a little tip about old tools. If I can get the light just right. This blade is actually made of two pieces of metal. A little hard to see it on this side, but on the back side, you see it's a little darker here. Just about the width of these tangs. And it's just a little shinier on the outside. That's not just because I've polished it more. That's because this is iron, and that edge is cast steel, and they've been forge welded together. You'll see that with old tools. There'll be an iron backing with a steel edge, because steel was very expensive. Lovely tools. But I want to show you now a draw knife. You say, well, what's it used for? Well, rounding off stock. I use it extensively when I'm doing green woodworking. See, it's a knife. It works like a knife. The bottom of the blade is flat, but not dead flat. It actually curves up just a little. The top curves down just a little. And it whittles. Now that's a useful tool even if you're not doing green woodworking. For instance, here I have just a scrap piece of pine. It was broken, but I've drawn a line. I want to rescue that little piece of pine. You know I don't throw wood away, right? So I'll just put it in the vise and all I worry about is getting close to the line. That way, when I get close to the line, I can then take a plane and a couple of passes. I have a useful piece of wood again. So if you have a chance to get one of these tools, don't think you have to build wheels or chairs to use one. They're really useful. But now what about the sharpening? Well, not going to rub this knife over top a little stone. going to have to do something a little different. Now, also, I have to warn you right off the bat. You're dealing with a tool with this much cutting edge. There's no guides, no guards. This is a dangerous tool, okay? You can really cut yourself badly with this tool, so be careful. And even in the sharpening, it can be kind of tricky, so again, be cautious, be careful, follow good form. I'm just going to show you what I do to sharpen a draw knife. I typically just clamp one of the handles in a vise. Then I'll take a stone. In this case, I'm just going to take a hard Arkansas stone, a white stone, put a little oil on it, and instead of rubbing the tool over the stone, I'm going to rub the stone over the tool. Give it some swipes that are dead flat just to clean it up a bit. And then I'll tilt the stone a little bit to do the edge, but not a lot, just a little. Just be very careful to keep your fingers, your thumb, away from the edge of that stone. You don't want to nick yourself. Flip it around. Again, be careful. And I'll go to the other side. Now, this was the top of the blade. We're going to give it more angle with the stone than we did the bottom. Wipe the oil off. That's sharp. The reason we do this, the reason we make it like a pocket knife, is that if this is dead flat, it will cut perfectly on a flat. But sometimes we want to scoop out gently. Or if we need to go more, we can use the other bevel and run the angle. So always sharpen according to the use the tool will be put. And if you can get draw knives, get them. I have some friends who are experts in it. But having a draw knife in the shop will save you a lot of work. Just sharpen it properly and be careful. So anyway, two knives, basically the same technique. We'll talk to you later.